CEO of Bettortakes, Steve Rubenfaer. We're going to be talking about the Bettortakes app, and we're going to be making weekly NFL picks. We're going to start trying to do this as a little segment every week. And the picks have been on fire this year. This is my overall edge score, and you can see some of the individuals. There's a lot of great things to go into about the app, but I'm going to let Steve sort of talk. For those of you guys who haven't seen the app, I really would encourage that everybody download it for free in the App Store. It's an incredible tool. Steve, why don't you talk a little bit about the app? You don't need to talk about how it entirely came to be, but you can go into whatever detail you want and talk a little bit about some of the strengths and advantages that it provides.
So what our app does is it helps you understand your own play, your own betting. You're doing a lot of research out there. You're listening to a lot of guys like Bobby. You're trying to coalesce a lot of data, and you come up with a pick. But you're missing kind of a very important piece that you should be factoring in, which is how you do when you make this type of bet. And what we do is we build tools that help you try to figure that out. What you're seeing on the screen right now is a stat screen that shows, it's just a granular stat screen that shows here, this is Bobby's actual football, shows his stats for different categories, home fave, home dog. And there's really nothing like this on the market. It just kind of gives you a quick, after the fact, looking backwards of what your strengths and weaknesses are, and it might find some pretty cool stuff. Scroll up a bit. Let's try something. Let's see for this season only. There's those three dots. We just put this in, those three dots to the right. Yeah, let's see if we can get this season and see if that's working.
It doesn't have this season. It's got last season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's because you got the desktop, so the drop. Yeah, so Bobby's looking at this on a desktop version, which doesn't have. Anyway. Yeah.
It's made to be used on your phone, but we're doing it so we can show the screen while we talk. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, it's not really designed for desktop, but we can rig it. So basically, what we do is we build these tools that help you understand your own play. Our main flagship tool is called the Edge tool, and the way it works is you figure out what you're going to bet for the week or for the day. You check the tool and you find out how good you are. You tell us you want to bet. Let's say you want to bet the Dodgers. So we run it through our algorithm. We check your previous betting history. We find similar situations, and we give you an edge score. And your edge score is a representation of kind of your proficiency for that bet. Basically answers the question, when I make these bets in the past, how have I done? And they can give you a sense if maybe this is an area where you've been making mistakes. And that's the real value of the product, is it's going to point out areas where you keep making repeated mistakes, and it's just hurting your bankroll. And until somebody shows this to you, you just can't tell. Look at that edge score. That's crazy. That's for basketball.
Yeah, that's the NBA one. This is the NFL one.
That's nuts.
Yeah. The bets have been on fire. So we wanted to start doing this. We have people asking about bets. I've been posting them, but I'm going to go. I thought it'd be fun to go through and pick them while we're here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to the bottom and look, this is under the insight screen. It tells you everything about your history. You can tell, like, just for me, one of the things that I learned, and it's something that I suspected as basically my job is all DFS related. So what do we focus on? We focus on the games that are, the over and unders. We want the games that are going to go off, and we want to shy away from the games that don't. And as in every sport, and you can see here, I've got a terrific score with my over under bets. And that's one thing that I've learned from this. And I've actually, I've tried to go against my edge score a number of times by playing these underdogs, and it is not happening for me. I know it's still a fairly small sample size, but this would be, if I just cut this out, we'd see an edge score well into the 60s, and that's probably the right thing to do. Anyway, we'll go through it and we'll pick this week's games. Let's just go to bet, and we will go through this week's games using this, and it's going to tell me at the end what they like and what they don't like. We don't necessarily need to pick every one of them right now, but I thought it'd be helpful. And it's look, I post all of my bets every week for TrueDFS, but I also wanted to share it with all you guys who are watching here. So we're going to go through this. And again, really, I would encourage every single person who bets on sports to download this in the App Store. It's free right now. There's no harm it's going to cause you. All you're going to do is get a better idea of what you're good at and what your strengths and weaknesses are. And then hopefully you'll follow those trends to making yourself some more money, or at least losing less money. Anyway, starting off with the London game, New England and Jacksonville. I don't have a strong take on these games. I have a tough time with the London games a little bit. My initial feeling is to probably go with, I was going to think under. I started to talk myself into it. I think I'm actually going to go over, but I don't feel very strongly about this bet. So I'm just going to go 1 star on this bet. And you can see it gives you the best odds that are out there in the industry. over 41.5, -105 is the best one. We're going to go with that. Going next to Cincinnati and Cleveland. This is a weird rivalry game where you end up getting a situation like these games always play like 13-7 or like 38-35. I think that Cincinnati's defense is bad enough, and Cleveland being at home, I'm hoping their offense can do something. But I think the over is the right bet here, and that's what I'm going to go with. It is also interesting to see a team that's 1-4 with a 6-point favorite on the road in a rivalry game. I was tempted to take Cleveland, but I just don't think I have it in me to bet on Deshaun Watson right now. I do feel pretty good about the over, so I'm going to go with a 3-star bet. We're going over 41.5. Dolphins in Indianapolis. Indianapolis plays faster than anybody else in the NFL. The problem is with Richardson, the quarterback, that is. The problem is I don't know how Miami is supposed to entirely keep up here. I feel very wish-washy on this specific game. I think my favorite bet here is the -3 for Indianapolis. Let's see if we can even find if there's a better number out there. It might take a minute to load here as we're on this thing. It's still -3. -3 at 105. I think this is probably the right thing to do, but I don't feel incredibly strong, so I'm leaving that as a 1-star bet. We'll get to a couple 5-stars, and I'm just going to go through the 1 p.m. slate, the 1 p.m. Eastern slate. It says 10 a.m. because I'm on the West Coast. The Eagles and Giants this week. I like the Eagles in this game, but I don't want to give up to 3 to the Giants at home. And I don't feel great about either side of the over-under in this one. So this is another one I'm sort of like reluctantly just betting the Eagles -160, at 165 even. I don't even want to do that. So I think I'm just going to stick with the -3. And yeah, I don't love these numbers, to be honest with you. I'm trying to do something where I'm betting every game this year. So I have to get some bet in on this game.
You can click the arrow to the right. You can see some halftime bets. And if you go one more, you can see some prop bets.
Maybe that's the thing to do, is take the under 21 at the half, because the Eagles have scored the fewest. They've scored 41 points in the first half all season. They have not scored in the first quarter this season, which is interesting. So I'm going to go under 21 in the first half. Let's do that. I haven't been betting much of those, but I like that idea. I think it's a good call there. Try and get a little bit, do something a little different, considering I don't love the other bets there.
Glad I can help, man.
Yeah, there you go. Seattle and Atlanta. I like this game to go over. I know it's a big, hefty over, but I really don't see these teams slowing anything down. I really like this game. It's going to be a great game for DFS. I feel pretty strongly about this one. So over, when you get 50.5 at -104 and FanDuel, let's take that. I think that's really a solid bet. I also like Seattle plus the points here. I think Atlanta's a little bit overrated. So I'm going to take Seattle +3. Tempted to just, you know what, maybe we just bet it outright. I think +136, and you'll see, we might get some +130. You know what? I think I'll go back to the +3. But you'll see, it might give us some ideas of some suggested bets once we get there. This is maybe my favorite spot to attack this week. I like the over in this game too, but I also think the Lions should be like bigger favorites. I think they should be big favorites here. Actually, I like the Lions a lot better than I do. I think the Vikings have been great, and I think they're somewhat for real. But I think it's getting a little bit they're getting a little too much credit, I'd say. I think the Lions are really good. So taking the 1.5 to see the numbers drop from the original line, and we're just going to go through the next couple games and I will do the rest of them. I'll post on the site. Texans in Green Bay. I think this is I thought this was like a mistake when I saw this over under. It's good weather. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, we're no Nico Collins. Yeah, they've been running the ball more in Houston. I love the over here. This is a 5-star bet for me. This is one I'm actually going to go out of my way. I'm in California, so I can't bet it directly. But I'm going to call my buddy up and have him place that one for me. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but who cares?
Don't say that.
I also like the Texans to win this game, and I feel pretty good about it. I don't feel great about it. Let's put it that way. But I like the +132. I like the +2.5. This is the game that I'm probably gonna make or break me. I'm gonna have it in DFS. I'm gonna have the bets out there. Really like that game that is getting a little bit overlooked. I like the under in this one. It's a low under. It doesn't feel great. I think the Bills win this game fairly handily, and I'm gonna stick with the under 41 at -108 seems like the best number for me. And that's where I'm at. So then we're going to go next to analyze my bets. And you can see the suggested bets here. Steve, talk a little bit about the recommendation engine.
So you can see his edge scores there. So basically, we start off with, let's see the very first bet. He's betting Jacksonville over 41.5, and he's got an edge score of 55.52. So our analyzer's gone. They've looked through his past history. They found bets that were similar in the past, and they took a whole bunch of variables and gave him one number, and that's basically his proficiency for that particular bet. And that's a good number. That 55 is a very strong number. But then below it, we got this yellow thing. And what the yellow thing is saying, it's our recommendation engine. And that's kind of a separate analysis. And what that's saying is that instead of betting over 41.5, he should try an alt spread. So a lot of you have seen those alt spreads. You might not know what they are, but when somebody's a 7-point favorite, you can bet 6 plus 6.5 plus 8. You can bet a whole bunch of other bets with different money line odds. And so that's what this is recommending. Now, the money line odds aren't that different because they're coming from different sports books right now. But basically, what they're telling Bobby is, hey, you're so good at this that instead of betting 40 over 41.5, you should bet over 43.5, because when you win these bets, you actually crush. You have a few points to spare. So why not take a little bit of a gamble and sacrifice a couple more points for some more money? So that's what new feature we have, the recommendation engine that finds your optimum place among those alt spreads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I go back and forth on these. This one I'm not going to take the extra points because it's 2 extra points and you're only getting, it's minus 102 instead of minus 105. But I will take this one instead. I'll take the under and take the plus money on the under 40. I think that's a reasonable bet. I don't know. We haven't seen the Tennessee thing look like an offense yet. I don't think it's magically going to change in Buffalo, but so I'm okay with going with that under. Down here, we have Green Bay. You can see I've done terrible with betting the underdogs. I'm still testing it out, so I'm still going to keep doing against. Again, I'm not making the actual bet on this one, but I do feel strongly about this, and I felt strongly about a number of them that I've been completely wrong about. It's by far my worst edge score of anything that I've seen because I have not done well with these underdogs. Obviously, you're going to lose most of the games with the underdogs, but it'll even out when you win some of the, like Cleveland last week at plus 385, and they probably should have won that game in Philly. But again, you can see my edge score is not great. Maybe just for the sake of this show, I'll take that bet out right now. And I like the going over. The problem is that the number's something's a little bit off here because it's saying the over at 48.5 is minus 113 and the over 47.5 is minus.
It's because right now we don't allow you to select the alt spread. So you selected FanDuel. It's because of a different of sports books. But basically. Right. But really, Bobby, what it's telling you though, what it really means is if you're not really going to bet because you live in California, but it basically is saying at your own sports book, take over 48.5 instead. Yeah, that makes sense. Again, Detroit, these have not been my road underdogs have not been good to me. I'm still letting it roll one more week at least. It didn't work for me last night either, but I'm still gambling for it a little bit. Detroit plus 1.5. Okay, I feel good about all these things. And then we've got another situation where with Seattle, I will take this 52.5 and take the plus odds there. I think that makes a lot of sense. Seattle plus 3. You can see pretty solid edge score on most of these. I haven't bet been betting the halves, but so this is why my number is exactly at 50 because that just means you're average, and I haven't done anything to show that I'm average or better than average or worse than average. Just yet. Miami, Indianapolis, minus 3. And then we have the Cincinnati Cleveland game. They're saying to go, I like that over 43.5. I think that's reasonable. I think that's a game that I could actually see myself if I was in a legal betting state. I would see, I think I could hike that one up to like 50 and probably get like, I don't know, plus 250 or something like that. And I would consider doing that this week. I do like that game to either go way over or way under. So I may as well take the plus odds and go take that. And it'll take me here, and then I have my action coming up. It'll update you live. It'll tell you how you're doing. And again, just going back to my screen here for how I've done so far, you can see, roughly it takes into account absolutely everything. And I don't know why, like I said, I don't know why anyone who bets on sports would not be using this app. So anybody with any questions out there, please drop them in. I did want to mention one more thing that I wrote in the chat. You can upload your entire betting history on here, and it'll immediately tell you what your overall edge score is and everything. And then you'll have all your information nicely tucked away. It's a great app. I think everybody should be using it. And I have no idea why you wouldn't be. I think in the future, this is going to be a part of the way everyone bets. And why not get it right now while it's free? Steve, anything else you want to talk about before we end up getting out of here? No, that's it. Just I'd love to have your feedback. My email is steve@bettortakes.com. Download the app. It's free. There's no reason not to try it. And I'd love to hear what you think. Good luck this
Absolutely.
weekend. Everyone make a little bit of money.
All right, let's go. Let's make some money this week. Thanks so much, Steve, for being here. And we will make this a weekly spot. Anybody with any questions, pop them on in there. And if not, you can always hit us up in the Discord, both the Bettortakes Discord and the TrueDFS Discord. I will attach that when we post this later on the Bettortakes Twitter. So good luck to everybody this week. And